All right, and there's just, I mean, the fire has just been going crazy. When are we going to see a little bit of calm down from that?
Well, the good news is that the fire threat today, it's not going to be anything like it was yesterday.
Okay,
We're going to have a lot less wind, and the wind should start to relax a little bit more here later this afternoon. But, I mean, gosh, we had so many fires across the state yesterday, and we had a really big one that was down there in Comanche County at the Wildlife Refuge. And Jim Gardner in Bob Mills Sky News 9, he went down there this morning, and it was still burning, at least in some spots, and still just a ton of smoke. And the latest that I've seen is over about 1,500 acres have been burned, and crews are still on it. I think it's just going to take some time. It's definitely going to take some time. We could certainly use that rain, but right now there's just no rain in the forecast for this particular area. So it's going to be some time before crews can get a really good handle on that. But just a wild looking shot from all that smoke from down there in the mountains. Let's go ahead and go to Links 1 and show you where all the fires took place yesterday. So we, of course, were on several of them. There were just so many. We had the one in Morrison that Val and Amy Castor were on. Marty Logan was out. Then we had the one that was over near Kogar. We had the one in Cashin, and there's that refuge fire. But we had several others across the state as well. Today, that fire threat, not anything like it was yesterday. We still have a little bit of a wind, and it's still dry, so we still have to watch it. But you can see that the only hot spot that we have is still that refuge fire down there in Comanche County. So that is still burning. It is still technically a very big fire, so I'm sure there will be more acres burned. But one thing we have to keep in mind is there are a lot of burn bans. Even if you're not in a burn ban, technically, you probably shouldn't burn anytime soon. We have to get that rain in here. Now, the cold front came through late last night, early this morning. It's still in southeast Oklahoma. It did have some rain with it, but of course it wasn't nearly enough. And look at some of these amounts. The best that we were seeing is around Miami, where we had a little over 1/4 of an inch. But zooming in a little bit closer to the metro, there was 0.08 in Byers and 0.04 in Holdenville. That's not really going to do much for us. It's still been at least around a little over a month now since we've had 1/4 inch rain all across the metro. And there's some spots in the northeast, the southeast, and the southwest where it's been over a couple of months. Temperatures today, they're not going to be nearly as warm. We're going to top out in the 70s, but by the time we end the weekend, we're going to start to warm things back up. We're looking at a high of about 81 degrees, the record being 86. On Monday, I'm forecasting a high of 87, the record's 89, and by Tuesday, still warm, looking at a high of 84, the record being 89 degrees, and so there's a little bit of a difference there, but the thing is, it's still looking warm and dry until we can get these storms in here, but there are storms eventually down the road. Temperatures right now, we're at 71 in Pawnee, 69 in Tecumseh, 68 degrees in El Reno, and 67 right now in Fort Cobb, the mid-60s in Alva, the mid-70s in Ada, and 79 degrees down in Durant. So there's where that cold front is. So most of us have a north wind anywhere between about 10 to 25 miles an hour, but we're still seeing some isolated wind gusts as high as around 30, and there's definitely that 30-mile-an-hour wind gust down there around Lawton. This is our American Fidelity camera up over Lucky Star Sky Chem Network. Lots of sunshine, mild, not too warm yet. 66 degrees at the airport with a north-northeast wind between about 15 to 20 miles an hour. This cold front's going to continue to move off to the south and east, so you think eventually that wind's going to relax a little bit more late this afternoon and evening. Tomorrow looks really nice. We're going to have a lot less wind. The wind's going to be light. Temperatures will be in the 70s. By the time we end the weekend, it's going to start to warm back up. Early next week, it looks warm and it looks blustery. We could easily see wind gusts as high as around 40 to 45 miles an hour. Good news is we are still tracking a stronger storm system that should arrive about midweek. That's going to bring a better chance of rain and storms behind it. It does look significantly cooler, but temperatures dropping down into the 60s for highs. And it looks like we could get a little bit more of a pattern change with that. And what we're talking about is seeing more rain and storm chances. That's going to become more normal, and temperatures should eventually go down in the long run. Today, though, mid to upper 70s across the metro, 75 in Arcadia, 77 at Lake Thunderbird, 75 degrees in Piedmont, the low 70s in Alva, the upper 60s in Woodward, and 76 this afternoon in Lawton. Now, late this evening and into tonight, that cold front could allow for just a slight chance of showers and storms in the southeast. Otherwise, overnight tonight, still a little bit of a breeze, but temperatures drop down into the low to upper 40s. Kind of depends on where you are, but 43 in Kingfisher, 47 in the Village versus a 51 degrees at Lake Thunderbird. Hayward, the low 40s in Ponca City, but the mid 60s down in Durant and 59 degrees in Ardmore. Tomorrow afternoon, really nice. 73 degrees in Oklahoma City, a northeast wind between about 10 to 15, even lighter wind out to the west, upper 60s in the northwest. Tomorrow night to Sunday morning, there's your slight chance of rain and storms once again, staying in the far southeast. Sunday afternoon, that wind shifts back to the south and east. It's going to be more windy out to the west, mid 80s in Altus, low 80s in Oklahoma City, and about 80 degrees in Ponca City. So your 9-day forecast showing we are warming back up by early next week. The fire threat will be high. It's going to be very windy, but by Halloween, it looks quiet and cool. Haley, back to you.